This is lesson 8 for the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants. In the last few classes, I have discussed about the flower, about the parts of a flower. And in that, we got some matured part, that is the seeds and the fruits. In today's video, I am going to discuss about the structure of seeds. As we know that the angiosperms, it is of two types, that is dicotyledons and monocotyledons. And these dicotyledons and monocotyledons, they are named because of the development of the embryo within the seed. In one, there are two cotyledons that is formed during the development of the ovule to become the seed, and in one type of flowering plants, there is only a single cotyledon inside the ovule, development of the ovule, and hence the term it is given as monocotyledons. Now, before discussing about the structure of seed, we just need to have a small idea about the structure of the ovule that is found inside the ovary. A ovule is a oval shaped structure and it have the following parts. It have a small pore, this is called as the micropyle. Then there is a lower stalk which is called as the funicle, and near the funicle there is a point of attachment which is called as the hilum. Then inside the ovule there is present the nucellus and it bears the embryo sac, where later after fertilization the whole embryo is formed. The ovule, it is covered by two walls which is called as outer integument and inner integument, and this outer integument and the lower integument, it becomes the testa and tegmen after the development of the seed, which are hard in structure. Now let's come to the inner structure of the seed. When the ovule is fertilized by the male gamete, there are some developments, and later the zygote that is formed inside the seed. As the seed develops from the ovule, gradually the embryo, it also starts its division and a few other cases takes place. Now after the post fertilization changes, the embryo, along with the embryo, a nutritive tissue is formed which is called as the endosperm. Inside the dicotyledonous embryo, we find three important parts. One is the radicle, from where the roots are developed. The other part, which is comprised of tissues, so that is called as plumule, and that gives rise to the shoot system of the plant body. And there is a bulged out region in case of dicot embryo. So this bulging, it takes place in both the sides, and therefore later it develops two cotyledons, that is the leaf primordium, when the seed it gets germinated. Therefore within a dicotyledonous seed we find the radicle, plumule and the two cotyledons which gets germinated later to form the whole plant body. And on the basis of that, on the basis of the development of the endosperm, in the last video, the two types of seeds it was discussed. One was the non-endospermic seed and the other was the endospermic seed. Normally, in case of dicotyledons, the seeds are non-endospermic. Then comes the structure of the monocotyledonous seed. The monocotyledonous seed during the first stage of development, that is same, they have the same type of ovule, which is oval shaped one. But during the later stages of the development of the embryo, there are a few changes. There is some special parts which is developed, just that it covers the radicle, plumule and the cotyledon inside the seed. So the embryo, it consists of a upper shield shaped scutellum, which is generally a reduced cotyledon. So that is the outer covering that forms above the cotyledon, and it generally reduces the shape of the cotyledon. So that is the scutellum, and this part it gives rise to the leaves after germination, or it forms the leaf primordium. Then comes about the radicle. As we know that radicle, it develops into roots. Now this radicle, it is again covered by a protective sheet of tissues which is called as coleorhiza, that is found along with the radicle inside the monocotyledonous seed. And on the other end, where the plumule is there is also a conical protective sheet which is called as coleoptile, that covers the plumule of the monocotyledonous embryo. This coleoptile, it is capable of growth and covers the growing shoot tip after or during the process of germination. So the development of the scutellum, coleorhiza and coleoptile along with the presence of a single cotyledon, that makes a difference between the dicotyledonous seed and the monocotyledonous seed. And the monocotyledonous seed, they are generally endospermic seeds in nature. So this is all about the structure of the seeds in case of angiosperms. Now let's come to a very important part which is called as floral formula and floral diagram. Now let's come to another aspect of a flower, and this is called as the floral formula. When a flower is represented by some symbols to describe about its part, then it is called as the floral formula of that particular flower. So you can see the symbols and the various terminologies that we have studied in the last few videos. So for every part of the flower and for every changes that a flower produces according to the families, according to the species, so there are certain symbols based on that. As for example, when a flower, they produce bract, we know that they are called as bracteate flower. So when a flower is bracteate, then the symbol Br is used. When it is ebracteate, that means when the bracts are absent, then EBR is used. For calyx, capital K, if it is a polysepalous calyx, that means when the sepals, they are free from each other, then K, and here small n, it means the number of the sepals. If it is 3, then 3. If it is 5, then 5. If it is 7, then 7. So that is the number of the floral parts. N is represented by the number of floral parts. Then comes Kn. Kn, that is again there with the N, a bracket is there. That means the sepals are united there. And when the sepals are united, then it is called as gamosepalous calyx. Similar goes for corolla. Corolla, it is represented by the letter C. When it is polypetalous, then Cn. When it is gamopetalous, then it is C N within bracket. This bracket sign, it represents the union or fusion of that floral part. After that comes the letter P. P, that means perianth, which is when the calyx and the corolla that is fused with each other, then it is called the perianth. So if a flower possesses P, then we will write P there. A perianth, then we will write P there. A, that is for androecium. G, that is for gynoecium. Now G and a dash below the G, that means superior ovary. That means the flower, it is hypogynous. When with the G, the dash is above it, then it is called as the inferior, that represents the inferior ovary. That means it is a epigynous flower. Then comes the representation of the sexuality of the flower. So if the flower is a unisexual male, then the male sign is given. If it is a female, then the female sign is given. And when the flowers, they are bisexual, then both the signs together it is given, as you can see in the diagram. Please refer to the chart here. Now comes another important, that is on the symmetry. So we know that there were 3 types of symmetry, but in case of 2 only it is used. That when the flower, it is actinomorphic. Actinomorphic, that means when the flower, it can be divided into 2 equal planes. So there, with the diagram or with the symbol, you can see that a plus sign is given. That means 4 equal parts can be obtained from that particular flower. So that is the symbol for actinomorphic flower. And for zygomorphic flower, so there is a dash and these 2 equal parts can be obtained from it. So it is like that of a percentage, or another sign like that of a cross, that is also given. But we generally use the sign like that of the percentage. So these are the various symbols which are used with the floral, or to write the floral formula to describe about a flower. Now let's see how a floral formula looks like. So this is how a floral formula looks like. The first sign, that is for the symmetry. Here the flower, it is actinomorphic. Then comes the sign for sexuality. Here the flower, it is bisexual. Then comes calyx, K, the symbols that is written from the outermost hole to the innermost hole. Here K, 5, that is the number of sepals, and as the sign bracket it is given there, that means it is there the flowers, they are gamosepalous. Then similarly comes for corolla, which is the second hole. Here also the petals, they are gamopetalous. 5, that is the number of petal, and the bracket sign, it represents the gamosepalous nature. Then comes androecium. Androecium, that is also 5 in number, and it is free. Androecium stamens are free. And the gynoecium, that is a very superior gynoecium. 2, that means there are 2 carpels and they are fused with each other. That means it is syncarpus. Again, the bracket is given. That means for every sign of fusion or union, the bracket sign is given. And as you can see that there is a bridge which is made above C and A, that means corolla and androecium. So that also means fusion. That means the flower, it is epipetalous. Androecium or the stamens, that is fused along with the corolla. So this is a simple representation of a floral formula, that how to write a floral formula. So this is very much simple. If the flower is bracteate, then definitely we will use BR. If it is not, then EBR is used. Then in a sequential manner, first comes the symmetry, then comes the sexuality, then comes the floral parts. And accordingly, we place the sign along with the number of the floral parts of that particular flower. Now let's come to the floral diagram. The floral diagram is the diagrammatic representation of a flower. As in the first case, the flower, it was represented with the help of a formula. So here, the flower, it is represented with the help of some symbols. And there in the diagram, as you can see, that there are some symbols that is given there. And this is based on the types of estivation. That means what type of estivation that particular floral parts they bear. As for example, we discussed about 5 types of estivation. Those were velvet, twisted, imbricate, quincuntial and vexillary. Now this is the floral diagram for the floral formula that we have discussed just now. So here the first hole, that is green in color here, so that is the hole of the calyx, and there the estivation, that is velvet. And as the floral formula, it depicted that it is gamosepalous. So these parts of the sepals, they are joined with each other, which will give the representation of the gamosepalous nature of the flower. So that is the first hole. Then comes the second hole, there also, that is the hole of the corolla. Here the number of petals, that is 5 in number. Here also the estivation, that is velvet. As you know, what is the velvet estivation? That they will, all the ends, they will be uniform with each other. So they will lie in the same line. So corolla, petals 5 and they are gamopetalous. Therefore, the ends, that is joined there. Now the androecium, that is also 5 in number. But androecium and the corolla, that means stamen, the petal, they are united, which is the epipetalous condition. So therefore, the androecium, that is attached with the corolla. As you can see, there is a line that is drawn. So that is the epipetalous nature of the androecium and the corolla. And lastly comes the gynoecium. The gynoecium, that is 2 in number. And here the placentation type, that is shown here. So in case of this is the axial placentation, as it had 2 carpels. Mainly this will represent bilocular nature. So here there are 2 locules, and over that the ovules that are arranged. So this is the axial placentation of the flower. So this is how a floral diagram is given. Here mainly the estivation, that is important, and whether the flower it is gamopetalous or polypetalous or gamosepalous or polysepalous, that is required. Then epipetalous condition, this is required here, and the placentation, that is required, along with the numbers of each of the floral parts. And as you can see, there is a dot just above the diagram. So that is the mother axis, or that is the mother axis to which the symmetry of the flower can be represented. So this is how a floral diagram is made with the help of the floral formula. And remember that here the holes that will be represented right from the outer side to the inner side, as you can see in the diagram. This is all for today's class. Thank you.